On Sunday, I will be heading to France to take on what is potentially Newcastle United's final away game in the Champions League this season. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the PSG game is actually make or break for Newcastle. If you want to get into the knockout stages of the Champions League, this one for me has to be 3 points. But depending on what you guys want, depending on what the club wants, do you want to drop third into the Europa League, then maybe a draw, even maybe a loss here could be okay, and they beat Milan at home. Or if you just want to get out the Champions League and finish fourth, then obviously you just lose here. So it depends what the club wants. It depends what long-term Newcastle want to do. But one thing that we need to know about this game straight away, and the unfortunate truth is, for any of you watching this video who actually went across to Germany, as well over 10,000 Newcastle fans there, everyone was celebrating, everyone was having a good time. The German fans are lovely. Dortmund, you got tracked so well there. It was actually Newcastle fans wearing their shirts, buy tickets into the home end. They went in the home stand wearing their shirts, and the German fans still welcomed them. They still bought them a drink, they still said hello, and they still made sure that even though the away fans sitting in the home end, you still get quite a welcome experience. Now, Paris is the complete polar opposite to Dortmund. If you go in the home end wearing the Newcastle top, I mean, A, you wouldn't get in anyway, but B, let's say for argument's sake, you got to wear on a home shirt, they would actually just destroy you over there, so don't even think about it. I'm here in this video to kind of tell you some warnings, to actually get into everything, and I mean, as much as we like to joke on this channel, much as we like to make positive videos about the club on this channel, ultimately, we've got to be honest, with ourselves. This is a dangerous fixture where I don't want to say anything happened. Now, AC Milan was our first away game, and even though, for the most part, things went quite well over there, we still got a case where a guy in his late 50s gets stabbed in a night out after being at the canal, where I was there, you guys were there, if you were in Italy, we were all there. One guy gets stabbed in the way out, and obviously that is someone that nearly died. So, truthfully, as much as we don't want to talk about this negative topic, it's someone that can, unfortunately, I think in Paris will happen. So I'm here today to tell you quite a bit about the Paris Ultras, the history behind the Ultra group. This is a group that was actually originally banned 10 years ago because someone died, and they actually came back now. And it's, I mean, when you actually look into the historic side of things, when you look into, I think, Ultras as a whole, especially in countries like France, you see how bad things actually are. I mean, what we get in the UK is just nothing compared to what you see abroad. It is crazy to witness. Newcastle United today have actually issued out warnings as well on what parts of France fans should avoid. But considering there's not a police escort on, considering as well that even stuff like the canal that I just mentioned there in Milan and Paris fans, they actually did brawl over there. There was hundreds of fans fighting each other in the place we were at just a couple of months ago. And so I think it's important now to kind of address the elephant in the room, to get through everything, and just to make sure for the 2,000 or so fans that have got tickets to the match, everyone can be safe, because again, this is a game where things unfortunately will happen, and I think Newcastle fans that are drinking during the day, you will get targeted. You got to remember that as well. This is a group that is quite organised. They will look at opportunities, especially small groups, if they see drunk people. As I mentioned with the Milan fan, so the guy got stabbed in Milan, this is someone that had mobility issues, so in that gang's eyes, they've probably seen someone there that they know he's going to be in trouble. So they will look for opportunities like that, and it's important now that we be smart, we be sensible, and make sure that for the fans over there, they are safe for the game. In 1985, the first ever PSG Ultra fan group was formed, called the Boulogne Boys. They took, at the time, heavy inspiration from UK van violence. So for any of you Newcastle fans that are around in the 70s or the 80s watching us play, you would know exactly what I'm on about when it comes towards fan violence. PSG had a massive problem with this. Gradually, over time, PSG started losing match revenue because the fan group had a far-right ideology, which meant that they were racist towards our people, they were violent towards PSG fans, they were violent towards opposition fans, they wanted to cause trouble at every single match. And some PSG fans had enough. They stopped going to the games, they stopped buying tickets. So with PSG losing revenue at quite an alarming rate, they went to the Boulogne Boys. You need to get out. We want new fan groups in. We want a fresh change here at Paris Saint-Germain. So this is where even bigger problems start to form now, because the group's just been disbanded, and we had a war between the fans, because one side of the stadium wanted to continue the old ways. They wanted to be racist towards fans. They wanted to continue the aggressive approach towards PSG. They wanted it to be an unstoppable place to attend. And the other side of the stadium wanted a more passive view. They wanted a good atmosphere at the games. They wanted to be friendly towards ours, though they didn't want any racist viewpoints. And that's where things started to boil over. So PSG had to separate the fans from fighting each other at the games. So the far right group went to the Ultra stand, which is actually where today Newcastle United have warned fans not to go anywhere near that stand. That is where the PSG Ultra fan group is now. Do not go anywhere near that stand at the game. And over time, during the 90s, it started to become more aggressive. The fans were at each other's throats. There was a massive power struggle between the two separate fan groups, and it got to its boiling point. In 2003, everything changed between the PSG Ultra fan groups because the far-right ideology side of the stadium presented a tifo at the game stating that the future belongs to us. Now, the other side of the stadium took as a complete declaration of war. So ever since that day, the PSG fan group started to fight each other outside the stadium. There were riots, there were confrontations, there were deaths, and PSG themselves have actually artificially started a war here. Because they had separated the fan groups inside the stadium, it started to create a massive divide between the fans themselves. And the far-right ideology side of the stadium, they weren't allowing black people to sit with them. Because they were black, they forced them to sit at the other side of the stadium. So PSG actually started this massive racist war between the fans that only boiled over time. Now, the problem being is that not only were the races, it also resulted in deaths as well. An example being in 2006, where an Israel side came to PSG. After the game, the Ultras surrounded one fan inside the pub, and a police officer actually killed one of the PSG fans out of fear of what would happen. And it continued to get worse, so the fan groups started to kill each other. In 2010, it was one death too many, where one of the PSG fans was killed by the other group. PSG finally realised their mistake. They finally realised they created this and they needed to stop this. The French government finally stepped in and they started to gradually over time ban some of the PSG fan groups from the ground. They were banned in smaller numbers, but it wasn't a complete ban towards the larger groups. When the Qatar ownership came in 2013, that's when the major ban came in place. They actually banned just under 13,000 fans from attending the matches. They completely wiped out the Ultra group and they got rid of them completely. However, they were only banned from attending the men's games, so over a couple of years they started to reform and they started to attend the youth matches and started to attend the women's game, and they started to get themselves back into PSG's good books. And gradually over time, the Ultra groups have now finally been let back into the stadium, which is the group we see today. The reason why I've just spent a few minutes in this video explaining the history of the Ultra group is because it is important to know. This is the group we are going to see next week. And bear in mind as well, we are heavily outnumbered compared to the PSG Ultra group. This is where it gets serious because, again, we haven't got a police escort for the game. We are expected to make our own way to the stadium. Newcastle has warned us not to go to the Ultra stand or anywhere near the Ultra side of the stadium, which is, of course, where the Ultras are situated for the game. We've been taught, for example, on stuff like the metro system, only use line 9 and not line 10 because line 10 takes it that side of the stadium. It's a massive warning issue where I've just explained there. They will target smaller groups. If they see individual fans, if they see people drunk, if they see an opportunity, they are a group that is going to take that opportunity. Do not become that fan. It's just a statistic saying this guy's died in this match. Just don't get yourself into anything like that. If you're in your large numbers, even a big group, they won't go for it, but they will look for opportunities. If you're outnumbered, if you're heavily drunk, if you're on your own, they will seek an advantage if they can take it. So just don't be that person, because I would hate it if I wake up and Paris the Wednesday morning I see a news article about this individual has passed away or this has happened. I don't want to see that also. Please keep yourselves out of trouble like that. The reason why I made this video is to kind of just give you some history lessons, I guess, and just to explain how bad things can actually get. I mean, you would have seen it already, Milan and Dortmund, but it's very different to the UK, the way fans behave. Some of them are completely different to our countries as well. You see Dortmund's friendly, Paris is just not. It is just not at all. It's not a great place, so please be careful out there. I would probably advise stuff like potentially not wearing shirt colours. I know Newcastle haven't stated not to do that, but definitely something that I thought the club probably should have been a bit aware of. I think that's the sort of thing, again, that PSG fans will look for. They'll look for people wearing Newcastle shirts. Just don't make it so obvious. You can do what you want, even if it's just put a coat or a jacket on over the top of your shirt, then get your shirt off inside the stadium, do something like that. Just don't make it so obvious outside the ground. I always say there will be meeting points during the day. There will be all the Newcastle fans be together in certain spots, which I'm going to show now. Of course, we've got the supporters group again, organised everything, which we will spot on for the last two games. So definitely listen to what the supporters group say. For me, I'll be probably following mostly what they do. Obviously for the match itself, I'll be doing my own thing, but during the days, I'll be obviously in the night times as well. I will be with the Newcastle fans, so make sure to come and say hello if you do. So just be safe. That's the message in this video. Be careful, look after each other. Just make sure you don't do anything stupid, because it's not a place where you can make a mistake at. It's definitely a place that will take advantage of you if you aren't careful. So hopefully that gives you a bit of insight into the PSG Ultras, what you can expect. It'll be a great game of football. My personal opinion, what do I want from it? I do want Newcastle to continue in European football, but I'm at that stage now where I wouldn't be too bothered if we finish 4th in the group. It's took such a massive effect in the league. I don't think it's worth the damage. Now, realistically, Newcastle aren't going to win the Champions League. Now, I think the Europa League's still big to stay into, because I think realistically Newcastle can get 4, which will give us extra revenue, which we can buy more players in the windows to come. But at the same time, we need to make sure Newcastle gets back to Europe on a regular basis. And based on the league so far, the injuries we have, we might drop out of Europe completely due to how bad things have got. So I think the Carabao Cup, we definitely should be trying to win. If we can beat Chelsea, we'll probably get a good semi-final, unless we're super unlucky and get Liverpool or West Ham. But at that point, I'm expecting Newcastle to get back to Wembley. Premier League-wise, any European place, I think it'd be good. We need to maintain this on a consistent basis. But staying in the Champions League or going into the Europa League will damage us long term. It will have a massive effect in the league. We've already seen matches where on paper we should have won or we should have got a good result at, and we've dropped points because the team has lacked in injuries and lacked in depth. So definitely something that's going to be an interesting balance to take. I'm not too fussed anymore, to be fair. I think fans should enjoy themselves. I think the players should get experience from this. And what will be, will be. I'm at that point now where I'm intrigued to see what Newcastle will do, but I'm not overly fussed to be finished last, because, again, this is the group of death. This is a seriously hard group, and I think for Newcastle, despite having such a good start, we have dropped off, and that's the truth. We've got a lot of players injured now. It's took a damage on us. We are inexperienced when it comes towards playing this many matches. I think Eddie Howe and his players play quite a high intensity. We play quite an aggressive, pressing style of play, which has damaged us quite a bit. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, enjoy the game, but be safe. That was the message in this video. Do not take anything else away from this video. Just take the message away. Be safe. Look after each other. This is a dangerous match with dangerous people, so don't play around.